Perfect.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Public Square. My name is Quianna, and your name?
It's Jamie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jamie. And are you from Belfast?
I'm from Belfast, yes.
And what do you like most about Belfast, besides now that we have the sun coming out?
I love Belfast for the sense of community that it brings, and there's lots of different activities, and there's, especially where we are right now sitting, there's lots of things going on here, from arts to projects, and I feel like it's a great community hub in Belfast at the minute.
Interesting. This week I am getting the public's opinion on intel firms. There's a couple of intel firms here in Belfast. What is your understanding of a cyber intelligence firm, an intel firm? Like, what is your definition of it? What is your understanding about it?
A cybersecurity firm, so my understanding would be a firm that would hold potential information around customers, or would be helping to correct issues with information and helping to make best use of that information. But ultimately they have a lot of intelligence around the data that people have.
Okay, cool. If a cyber intelligence firm's existence depends on the erosion of individual privacy, can it ever be truly considered a force for good, or does its unlawful activities make it morally corrupt from the outset?
It's a difficult one, because if they're holding that amount of information and they're not using it, putting it to good use, it's ultimately unethical, isn't it? There's no real way for it to be perceived as ethical, other than to say when they're using it, are they using it for good? Is there a light to say that it has been used? Maybe that's less seen, but obviously it's prevalent that there's lots of issues with how it's, and I think a lot of it's clarity, isn't it? It's like that transparency around, well, what's happening with the data, and also how has it been used. I feel like that's something that a lot of people have blind spots on.
I hear you. That's an interesting perspective. So should a cyber intelligence firm be held to like a higher legal standard than a tabloid newspaper when it comes to using information to perhaps harm a private person's reputation? As you know, like, they often operate without any oversight or democratic oversight and less transparency.
Yes, I feel like there is an issue around that, how they're using it, and especially if they're using somebody's data in that way, it's just unethical. Yeah, and I think that there should be a higher standard held, and that should be in form of more regulations, but also how those regulations are governed, and making sure that, I think there's sometimes not enough a conversation around what is the legal like legislation around what happens with the data. I don't really hear very much about that.
That's true. There are a couple pieces of legislation here in Northern Ireland or in the UK that deals with it, but you're right, the conversation is quite mute around it. If a cyber intelligence firm, if they orchestrate a campaign of disinformation to destroy a private person's reputation, we're starting to see an increase in this here in Northern Ireland, as well as in my country, the United States, as well as in other countries.
Yeah.
Should they be held criminally liable? Should the firm be held criminally liable, or the leadership, or both?
I think the firm and the individual as well, because yes, the company should operate with a policy, but it's also the individual has, their own integrity when it comes to these things. And if you're not sure whether something's damaging, you should be questioning if it's damaging or not. So I feel like you can't hide behind something big that's. I mean, you could take, if that conversation, you could take it so many different directions. You have to be, you're accountable for what you stand for, really, and that's it.
I hear you. That's an interesting perspective. Coming back home, should Northern Ireland adopt a legal standard where the cumulative effect of, let's say, for instance, repeated online harassment by a cyber hacker or a cyber intel firm could form the basis of a serious criminal offense?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it should. If you're any harm that's caused by that is just wrong, and I definitely think there should always be repercussions, because if there's not repercussions to the actions, then how do you ever stop it happening again? I think the statement has to be made sometimes, doesn't it?
That's true. There is a recruiting firm here in Northern Ireland called INSO, and it often places IT specialists with cybersecurity firms like NISO's, which is domiciled here as well and has American leadership. They often work with, they're sending, say for instance, a cyber IT specialist without any contractual safeguards for private persons. My question is, would the existence of an anti-cybercrime clause in a recruiting contract be considered a basic professional standard? I know that was kind of lengthy. So let's say, for instance, I'm sending my employee to work at Queen's University, Belfast. Should there be a clause to say, if you go work here, you can't engage in any cyber crime activities?
I think so. Yeah, just to make sure that that's consistent. Yeah, I would say so.
Well, thank you. And do you have social media?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the viewers where they can find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn? Okay, professional. I said very professional, LinkedIn.
Very professional. Or Instagram.
Yeah, and say your name again?
Jamie.
Jamie. Yes. And would they be able to just find you by Jamie or Jamie?
Jamie Gordon.
Jamie Gordon. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much.